Hi friends, my name is Emily and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you a weekend vlog with little updates about my reading throughout the weekend. This, I would have to say, is a pretty typical weekend. I'm going to be sharing clips of what I got up to. So Saturday, my choir put on a performance at a street festival. This was an odd festival. I think we were expecting, because it was a paid gig, we were expecting them to like close down the street for this festival, but in fact, nothing was closed down. There were like 3 musical acts, not at the same time, spread out along the street that was still open to like cars. So we were competing with like the noise of cars. They didn't provide us with like any water. We brought our own shelter. Like we brought our own tent to stand under because they just put us in a parking lot. Not the most like professional thing, but it was still really fun to perform. We did 3 sets and I'm gonna insert a clip of some of the singing that we did here.
Slaughtered all stability, no eyes could ever soak in all the places which are noise. And yet to see you all at once, we all beneath the voice. Flirting with infinity or geometric progeny that fit inside you, oh so tight with triangles that feel so right. 3.1 Your ever constant homily says, "Far is discipline." The patron saint of imperfection frees us from our sin. And if a transcendental lift shall find a final floor, then man will know the depth of God where wonder was before.
I have really been enjoying being in choir. It is so nice to get together with just different people, sort of make friends, make new friends, practice music again. Like it's been a really long time since I've done any sort of like organized music, so that's been so much fun. And some of it has just been like chaotic sight reading. It's been a beautiful challenge, like just fun, you know? Sunday I biked to Miles' Frisbee game and I have clips of that as well. So it's a huge park that's like hidden in this neighborhood. I didn't realize how deep this park went. Like I knew there was like park and like hiking area into like the nature preserve, but I didn't realize how big the like public park area of it was. And so while Miles was doing his frisbee practice, I alternated walking and jogging around this huge loop of park. Like those fall flowers, the goldenrod, they're coming in and they just look so beautiful. It was just a wonderful time to be like outside. There was just like a breeze. It was great. I got some great photos. I had a lot of fun with that. I am getting ready to go to something called Babe Coven. I was given it like a soft sell yesterday at choir by one of my good friends, Bailey, and it's a whole group that gets together every month and they sit in the biggest graveyard in our city and do crafts. I have plenty of crafts in progress, plenty of like works in progress. And you know what? I wouldn't mind sitting outside in a quiet place with a bunch of rad femmes. So that is what I'm doing in addition to everything else that I've done this weekend. So I have been reading, like splitting my time reading. Oh my god, the lighting is awful. Let me fix this. It's gloomy, but at least it's a mood instead of like sitting under the fluorescence. Okay. Collecting my thoughts. So my physical book for this weekend has been Cujo. The live stream for this is sneaking up on me quick. So yes, I've been working on this. And okay, so some people love this book. And I feel like in doing research for this book, once I finish it, I am going to have some of my suspicions confirmed. But I'm getting two impressions. This feels like it was meant to be a Bachman book. I feel like somebody told me that it was meant to be a Bachman book and it isn't. And so Bachman books, in my experience, have all been very rooted in real. They're about people and they're horrific because people are horrific and the things that people do to each other can be horrific. There's no supernatural in any of the Bachman books that we've read so far. So we've read Rage, The Long Walk, and Roadwork. It's just humans being horrific. Cujo feels like there needed to be a bit of supernatural to sell it under the Stephen King banner. And so there's been the introduction of like a boogeyman in the closet. That feels really disconnected. At this point, I'm halfway through. And that feels really disconnected from what's going on with the two parallel relationships. So we're looking at two families where we have a mom, a dad, and a small boy. And in one family, we have Joe, who is an abusive alcoholic, Donna, who is in this abusive relationship and stuck, and Brett, the child, who is still young enough to like really love his dad, but also know that like life is walking on eggshells. Then we have the other family, who is Vic, the salesman, his wife, whose name I'm blanking on, who has had an affair, and their son, whose name I'm also blanking on. And so we have like very similar family dynamics with crappy things happening in both. I feel like there's going to be some analysis there comparing the two. And then there's Cujo, the titular Cujo. And all of that that's happening, Tad, the little boy's name is Tad. All of that, the dog, the family, relationship stuff, feels really disconnected from the boogeyman that lives in Tad's closet that apparently can unhitch the door, can open the door, can move stuff around in the closet. Like it almost feels like we're being led to believe that like, yes, there is something supernatural happening in this boy's closet. but it feels so peripheral. So like it feels super disjointed. The other thing is it feels like perhaps by Cujo, Stephen King is big enough that nobody has closely edited this book. This book is riddled with errors. It's riddled with inconsistencies. It's often you'll see a word, an uncommon word, used multiple times in the same like moment, but not in a way that feels intentional. So for example, very close succession, something was described as morbidly and morbidly. Two different things were both described as morbid. And it was just such an odd turn of phrase in both instances. And it wasn't repeated intentionally enough to draw attention, like to it wasn't intentional. It just feels badly edited. There are typos or like typesetting errors throughout the text. So one of our main characters' names is Joe Cambers, and then there's just another Joe for the sake of like just a generic throwaway character. There's another Joe, unless we're reading in chronological order. So if we haven't encountered another Joe that is significant to stand out, to be like an Easter egg, then this Joe is just like laziness, like, oh, I need a generic man name. I'm reading Cujo, I'm taking notes. The other book that I have been listening to, because I'm trying to get fit, I need to take care of myself, and so I have been trying to walk more, and so like I'll try and hit a certain number of steps with this Fitbit thing that I've bought into. If I haven't been active enough throughout the day, like I'll try and get to my step count by just throwing on an audiobook and doing laps. The book that I've been listening to is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Morano Garcia, which is playing with the Island of Dr. Moreau, I believe, the classic sci-fi piece. It's been ages since I read that. It was in my undergrad, like second year of my undergrad, third year of my undergrad, maybe third year of my undergrad. So it's been a long time. So I don't quite remember much of it, but this book is very much like a feminist push back against that. We're focused more on Dr. Moreau's daughter, Carlotta. The hard part about listening versus reading the book, like I've probably heard a word to describe her mother and her mother's like race or ethnic identity in South America, but because I haven't seen it written down, details aren't as clear for me. So I will have to do some like research to make sure I get the details straight for a review, but just like off the cuff, it's a mood, it's a vibe. It makes me wish that I'd read the original text first to see, because I can only imagine that what's being done has been done very deliberately, but I feel like it still stands alone. Like I think that you could do a disability reading of this text in terms of how the quote-unquote hybrids are treated, the attitude towards the hybrids. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. That might be one that I look into purchasing a physical copy and rereading at some point.
24 hours later.
Babe Coven is a group of humans that meets in one of the oldest cemeteries in the city. Cemeteries are apparently public parks, and like, it's beautiful. Just sort of sit there and like enjoy the beautiful gardens. We do crafts. So like my one friend was knitting, somebody else was doing watercolors, I brought a crochet project, and we just sort of spent time being femme people who do crafts in a graveyard. It's like a very relaxing, low-key thing, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Again, met some interesting people. This is the first thing that I've gone to. The first one that I've gone to, my friend Bailey invited me out to it.
One long angry line later.
Hi friends! So it is the Monday, September 19th, and we're sort of wrapping up this vlog now. Yes, I do have a band-aid stuck to my face. we're rolling with it. I worked this morning and then took the afternoon off to go get boosted. I got a Moderna bivalent booster. Still important to get vaccinated and all that jazz. Keep yourself safe, keep the vulnerable around you safe. Obviously we were wearing masks. It's so weird to go into the mall because we had to, the pop-up clinic was in the mall. So to go into the mall, have them set the expectation that you wear the mask in the clinic. Sorry, there's a person coming and that's why I've moved you down here. Set the expectation that you have to wear a mask in the clinic, but then the minute the people, like we were the only people masked other than the employees. So like we, a lot of people were like standing in line with no mask. The employees gave them a mask to walk through the clinic and then they were taking their masks off and throwing them out to go hang out in the mall. And like these are all like, we qualified because Miles has status. So we're like I live with a person with Indigenous status. So qualifies as like a vulnerable population. So like everybody else there is elderly, like retired, having first access to this booster. And they're all just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take my mask off and go hang out in the mall unmasked. So weird. But I got a treat. This is a pumpkin spice foam hazelnut espresso monstrosity from Second Cup. It's pretty tasty. And now I'm gonna go home and wrap up this vlog, but I just wanted to pop in, say hi, get boosted. That was a weekend. It's pretty typical of like this COVID world. Now that things are opening back up, every weekend is busy, every weekend is packed, every day is packed, like in ways that I don't think it was pre-COVID. Part of me is like, how can I say yes and like enjoy the communities that I have and also be safe? So things that are like outdoors that allow us to be 6 feet apart from each other and still have like a community and like an activity to do, I'm really trying to lean into, especially because I know that winter is coming and I feel like a lot of things are gonna, at least the folks that I hang out with who have been quite smart about the pandemic, I think are going to sort of pull back a little bit once it's too cold to do things outside. Trying to make the most of the stuff that we have right now. I just thought I'd take you along, just show you some of the things that I'm doing. Next week, I am going to Montreal for a concert. The next video that you should see should be a Montreal vlog. I know that my one friend wants to go to French bookstores because he's learning French as part of his government job. I love bookstores. I'm curious to go check out a French bookstore. I'm hoping to take you along with that and just keep plugging away at everything that I'm working on. So the patron exclusive book club for this month, we're reading Cujo. In November, the small book club book that is open to everybody, we are reading The Midwich Cuckoos. The date for that is on the screen. It has been decided now. We're gonna sort of aim for that date. I'm very excited about this cooler autumnal season, just making the most of being able to do like socially distanced outdoor activities while we still can. And one of the things on my to-do list is to finally enjoy the backyard. We've been working all summer on this backyard project. We're just waiting on one window that's on order, and then like there should be no more construction. One of my goals is during the fall to spend a day doing nothing but sitting in this backyard that we've been working so hard on and reading a good book. Thank you so much to my patrons who make videos like this possible. Their support means a lot. I hope you are doing well, that you are staying safe, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!